and drink my own blood right quick. Hello beautiful people, my name is Jordy and welcome back to my channel. So you clicked on this video because you want to write smut. Whether you write smut already, or you want to write more smut, you want to write better smut, you want to learn how to write smut. Basically, just saying you came to the right place. I have written over 700,000 words of smut over the past like 10 years. Don't fear, I know my shit. This video isn't about fanfiction per se, but this is for anybody that wants to write smut in fanfiction, or say you're working on a novel and you don't know how to write smut at all. So I'm gonna teach you tips and tricks to make your writing better, or how to even like get started. So stay tuned to the end of the video because I have a lot of really important tips that would have helped me when I got started, because I reread my first fan fiction that I wrote about 10 years ago, my first porny like fan fiction that I wrote, and it was probably the worst thing I've ever read in my life, and I have improved greatly in that time, so I am here to help you become better. Before I get started on this video, please give this video a like and subscribe down below if you're interested in more writing tips, because this is my first writing advice Wednesday, which I'm going to upload a writing advice video every single Wednesday, and I have a few writing advice videos. I'm gonna link them down below. I'm also going to link the playlist down below or up here so you can check that out. I would really appreciate you doing that. If there's anything you want to know, any videos you want me to make, any pieces of advice that you would like for writing, please drop those down in the comments. I would love to hear what ideas you have, and I would love to give that writing advice to you. So like, writing's about words, right? You want to make sure you have the right words, the words that invoke the correct emotion from people. I have this list that I found it on Tumblr a few years ago, and I recently lost it, so I had to search it up again, and I found a copy of it. Someone posted it, and I'm going to link that right down below, and it has 129 verbs to use while writing smut, and it is an incredible list of verbs that'll really help you improve your writing. Like encircled, entwined, flooded, fused, grazed, hauled, intoxicated, that's a good one, hissed, kissed, licked, massaged, nibbled, nipped, overwhelmed, parted, that's a good one. A whole bunch of really good ones, and this list is just, it's a lifesaver. It really, when you can't think of the correct term, if you can't think of how to start the next sentence in your writing, I would suggest going to this and looking up one of the words, picking a word at random and deciding to put that word in the next sentence, and maybe that'll help you get out of your little writer's block. I've used that a couple times and it really helps. But whatever you do while you're writing, don't use the word moist. Whatever you do, I don't care what you do, just don't use the word moist. Dude, I hate, that is the most disgusting word you could ever use in anything, unless you're talking about cake, but even that's on thin ice. Like, I don't want to hear that word ever, so just don't use it, please. It's another tip, and this is not writing smut advice per se, but make sure that if you're writing characters, if you're writing like fan fiction, if you're writing characters, make sure that you are staying true to that character and that you're giving them words and dialogue that would fit that character. Like for example, you're not gonna have Hannibal Lecter, like this classy guy, go Will Graham drops his pants right in front of him and Hannibal goes, bruh. Like, it's not realistic, you know, it's just not realistic. I mean, if you want to throw a daddy or two in there, I'm not gonna go there. I mentioned this already in my 5 don'ts of writing smut, but make sure when you write cum, it's C-O-M-E, not C-U-M. That is like a huge no, just don't do it. I mean, yeah, if you're texting a friend, you can type C-U-M, but if you're writing and you want someone to take your writing seriously, please spell it C-O-M-E. Trust me, it looks so much better. It looks so much better. I said this in my other video too, so I'm just gonna go over it quickly, but make sure that when you are describing parts, you're not using gynecological terms like penis, vagina, anus. It's not sexy at all. It's weird. It's weird. Trust me, if I'm reading something and someone put the word penis in there, I'm gonna start laughing and the nut is just completely ruined. Stick to dirty words like cock, dick, pussy, hole. Hole's a good one. Those 4. Testicles, sparingly. You can use maybe once in each story. Otherwise, like if you overuse it, testicles, the word, is on thin ice. I don't know. You can use it because balls is a little funny. You can use balls. I don't know. I prefer balls, but you can throw a testicles in there every once in a while. Just don't overdo it. Also, don't get creative. I mentioned this in my other video as well. Do not get creative when it comes. Just don't get creative when it comes to giving words of those different terms. Just don't write like his love wand spat the baby gravy. Just don't do that. That's weird. That's just weird. Just stick to the normal word. They're so much better. Just don't get creative. My favorite's DNA rifle, but that's for jokes. That's not for writing good porn or smut. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Positions. You can Google sex positions and you can find so many ideas for where to put your characters and what to have them do. You know what I'm saying? And this might be a little TMI, but I watch actual like porn and I get ideas for my stories from that. I mean, some people don't like actually watching porn, but I mean, I do. And there's an abundance of free on the internet. So if you're stuck and you don't know what to write, like say if you want to write like a really nasty, good, dirty, sexy, you're gonna go to like a site. I'm not gonna give you any ideas, but go to a site and just peruse, you know, come up with ideas. I've come up with probably like 70% of my ideas from things that I saw in videos, so that's a very, very good idea. Also, that brings me to making sure that you have a good grasp of sexual education. I did mention this in my other video, and I want to make sure that I was clear when I said that you need to write that there is a use of lube when you're having anal sex. You don't have to. Like, you don't absolutely have to. I got yelled at a lot on my other video about that. I was like, really? But like, I was being careful. I was like, hey, these people, yes, you can have anal sex without lube, for sure. But is a virgin who's never had anything up there going to have anal sex without lube and find it pleasurable? Probably not. Probably not. So you make sure that you have a good grasp of what you are writing, and if you have some kind of sexual education. I mean, I was writing porn, I was writing smut as a virgin, and I was pretty damn good at it, you know? Even though I had no experience, you know? I read a lot. I read a lot of porn, which really helps. Make sure that you read a lot, you ingest a lot, so that you can produce a lot, you know what I'm saying? And you want to make sure that you're reading the good stuff. I would suggest, if you've never heard of the website called Archive of Our Own, it's a fan fiction website. You can go there and you can look up tags, any tags that you're into, and you can find really, really well-written porn on there. And you can kind of get some ideas from that as well. Don't copy, obviously, but you can get ideas, you can learn how to better word things. That's a very, very good resource. I write on there, I read on there all the time. It's an extremely helpful website, for sure. Okay, what's next? Make sure that you have the perfect balance between dialogue and action. You don't want to have more of the other. Obviously, you want to have more action than dialogue. Mostly, you're going to want action and describing, which reminds me, in describing where the characters are and what they're doing, more so than dialogue, because overusing dialogue can be really, really corny. Like, you don't want every 2 seconds the top being like, oh yeah, you like that, and then like it's like every 2 seconds. It's like, no, that's not hot. Like, maybe like once every couple paragraphs having some dialogue in there, but like mostly action, like I said in my other video. You just want to make sure that you are painting a good mental picture, which brings me to also another tip, is that you're going to definitely want to give as much detail as possible, so that your reader isn't sitting there like, what position are they in? I don't understand. I'm not saying that you need to overdo it and be like, oh, his right hand was on her leg, her right hand was on his shoulder. It's like, yes, but also don't overdo it, and every single move they make, you know, you don't have to write that. You know what I'm saying? See, the whole thing about like sex is that it is equal parts emotional and physical. So you're going to want to describe their feelings, maybe even more than the actual actions of the sex. Kind of sprinkle the actions in with the emotion. That's what I like to do. I wrote something a couple days ago, and I'll give you an example. I'm not going to tell you all what my AO3 is, because trust me, you'll never think the same of me ever again. But I'm going to give you a little example. I wrote this little one-shot on AO3 the other day, and I had one guy was writing the other guy, and he looked down into his eyes. Okay, so the guy on the bottom said something to him, and then he looked down and they looked into each other's eyes. And before that, it was all describing like physicality and dialogue. And then all of a sudden, as soon as their eyes met, it went into like a couple paragraphs from the guy who was sitting on top's point of view, talking about, and it was giving his feelings about the situation, kind of little flashback to how they met. And it just gave you more feeling, you know. You're reading this and you're reading sex not just for the act of it, you're reading it for the emotion of it, to feel something, you know. I mean, you might be reading it to like nut and stuff, sure, but like I like reading things that have, I like reading and writing things that have more of a punch to it, that are gonna make you feel things, you know, that are going to make you feel like this is real, it's an emotional connection of the souls, you know. So that's what I like to do. I like to sprinkle in dialogue with the action, but have it mostly emotion mixed in with sprinklings of the physical, if that makes any sense. Bringing it back to like sexual education stuff, you don't have to have your characters wear condoms. You don't. If you don't want them to wear condoms, they won't wear condoms. Like, you're writing, it's your writing, who cares, you know? But I mean, if you're writing like heterosexual sex, and there's just casual sex, you probably want to include condoms because they can get pregnant and stuff. But like, whenever I write, I don't write heterosexual, so I can do whatever I want. I also almost always tag it like oh, STD. This takes place in a world that STDs don't exist. I mean, when I write fan fiction, I don't include like condoms and stuff, because why? It's fiction. But when I write like my actual novel, I include condoms just because it's more realistic. I don't know. That's a good distinction, actually. When you're writing fan fiction, you can write whatever. You can write about someone being like getting banged by like 50 people without condoms, and it's whatever, because it's fan fiction. But when you're writing it in a novel, you probably, and you can't tag things, you probably want to throw a condom on that bad boy. I would. I came across this really good piece of writing advice recently, and it said write porn scenes like fighting scenes. And that's not to say that it's violent, it's to say that sex scenes and fighting scenes are very similar in the fact that they're fast-paced. They have a meeting of physical and emotional, not to say that it's a clashing, but it is a clashing of like the souls, and it's the clashing of physical forms, you know? Like, they're clashing together in an emotional way. Make sure that you are giving as much detail as you can without going overboard. Make sure that you know what position the characters are in, or they could totally get away from you and they will be on the other side of the room and you won't even realize how they got there. If your characters are switching positions, make sure that you write how they got to those different positions. You don't want to be like, oh, so-and-so was writing so-and-so, and then all of a sudden they're like on the floor, like in missionary position. It's like, how'd they get there though? You want to include, personally, that's what I find hot. The reality of it, you know? The rawness, like the showing how someone got to a different position. He picked him up and threw him up against the wall and then did all this, you know? Like, you want to give that direction. You don't want to skip ahead. You don't want to write it in like chunks where it doesn't make any sense. You want to write it as one cohesive piece. Write it like you're watching a film. Write it like you're describing a film to somebody, word for word, action for action. You want to paint a picture in someone's head. That's what I find hot when I read stories that really give a lot of detail. I'm not saying like, I don't care what color the freaking bedside table is. Like, I'm talking about like, describe the feeling of the sheets against their skin. What color are the sheets? You know, I want to know like, are they sweating? How does the sweat smell? Maybe describe like their perfume, their cologne, describe senses. That's very important. One of my favorite adages in writing is use the senses, use the 5 senses. Like, for example, I wrote this down. The smell of his cologne fogged her brain, driving her mind into an undeniable frenzy. Your brain is going to be, the reader's brain is going to be able to conjure the remembrance of smelling a cologne and remembering how that smells, how that feels, how you get this butterflies in your stomach whenever you smell the person you love, you know, like their cologne, and just heightens the emotion. It heightens the physicality. It makes it hot. And it's just cologne, you know, but it'll trigger the human part of your brain that attributes things, you know? I don't know if that makes sense, but I don't know, it does to me. For another example, his hand clenched down hard against his bicep, driving him hard and unrelenting into the mattress below. Okay, so describing the physicality of touch, you know, but don't go overboard with it. Don't be like, oh well, at this second he smelled this, and then the next thing, oh he smelled this, oh he felt this. Like sprinkling, less is more, you know, sprinkling those little details in there. Don't do too much, if that makes any sense. But yeah, like I said, I don't want to know what color the bedside table is. That's not the kind of wood I care about. Only what I want to know about is dick. Also, like, are you writing in first or third person? All right, first person's obviously going to be in the mind of the character and mainly in their point of view. So only their thoughts are included in that person's dialogue, which in my opinion is extremely difficult to write when it comes to smut without it coming off as super corny. Like, in my opinion, when I read porn that is in first person, it is so, I'm not gonna say badly written, but it's corny. You know, it's too much. I don't know. I much prefer reading and writing porn in third person. So you get the point of, I'm not gonna say the point of view from both characters, but you have a view to where it's kind of like you're hovering over them and you are describing what they are doing, not what yourself is doing as like a first person. I much prefer that. What do you prefer? Put that down in the comments if you like reading or writing porn in first person or third person or second person. I've written some porn in second person, which is probably not the best thing to do because it's really bad. But it's interesting, you know? I've written porn for my friends and been like, oh, well, he did this or she did this to you, and I don't know. That might be a little weird. I'm a good friend. But if you do write in third person, sorry, I'm reading the notes off my phone because there's a lot. If you are writing it in third person, make sure you're not overdoing it with describing things from each other's point of view back and forth, if that makes any sense. Make sure that you are keeping mostly to one character's point of view, even if you're writing in third person. I'm not gonna say to the point where it's just about them, but okay, like here's a bad example of what I'm talking about. She pulled down his pants. She could feel the fabric of the denim against her hands, and he could feel the brush of her fingertips. We don't need to know the feelings of all the characters for each action, you know? I, instead of like, would make this better, I would say like she pulled down his pants. She could feel the feeling of the denim on her hands. His mouth fell open from her proximity. Like, you're not going to describe the feeling of one character and the feeling of another character, and then the feeling of another character, and then the feeling of another character to what they just did back and forth, because that's gonna sound really robotic and that's gonna come off really badly written. Like, you're going to give the senses of one character and then describe the action of the other character in response to that person's action. Does that make any sense? It's not going to be like, oh, he felt and then she felt, or he felt and then he felt, or she felt and then she felt. It's, he did this. This is how she reacted physically. She did this. This is how she reacted physically. Don't give the same feeling, like, because we know how it feels, you know? We know like the feeling of what just happened by reading what she just did. We want to see what his reaction was, not how he felt with it happening, if that made any sense. I know I've said that a million times. I just want to make sure that I'm coming off relatable and understandable, because I know that, I don't know, I have a problem. I have a really difficult time with understanding what people are saying unless they give examples, so that's what I'm trying my best to do. Also, I mentioned this in my other video, make sure that when you're writing the utterances of the characters, you're not drawing it out and having like the characters saying like, yeah. Just write he or she whined or whimpered or cried or moaned. Don't draw it out. I don't need to read in quotations exactly what they said. I don't want to hear that. Nope, it doesn't, I don't know, it just looks really bad. It just looks really bad. It sounds really bad in the head. It's just, I can imagine it. The most important rule to writing is do not write like your reader is stupid. Trust me, your reader is smarter than you think. Your reader can put together 2 and 2. Less is more with writing. Don't treat your reader like they're stupid. Make sure that they understand what you're trying to do without overdoing it. Trust me, they can put 2 and 2 together. They're reading this porn for themselves. Sure, you're the one providing the physical and emotional feeling, but they are reading it themselves. And trust me, the brain can fill in those gaps by themselves. You don't have to describe exactly what they said. You don't have to write out exactly what sounds their body made. Just give simple descriptions like he whined. So hopefully I was able to help y'all with doing this. I tried to give the kind of advice that I would want to receive, if that makes any sense. I gotta stop saying that. But I hope that I was able to help you today. I really hope that I was able to give you some advice. You know what? If you DM me on Twitter, I will give you a link to a porn that I have written so that you can read something I've written. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want you to read something I've written so that you can kind of understand the kind of writer I am and what I'm talking about in actual, like, full detail. So if you DM me on Twitter, I will give you the link to, I'm not gonna say the link to my AO3, but I might not. I don't know. Put that down below. If you want the link to my AO3, let me know and I will actually give it to you, because I don't give a damn. I don't give a shit. I'm a pervert. Everyone knows it. You can read my stuff if you want, but only if you DM me on Twitter will I give you the link. I will not put it publicly. So if you want it, come DM me on Twitter. It is at WhyJordie, twitter.com. Okay? Maybe, I don't know, I might change my mind. Convince me. But yeah, I upload a new writing advice video every Wednesday. As I said, I'm doing writing advice Wednesdays every Wednesday from now on. And I do a whole bunch of other stuff on my channel, but please, if you are interested in writing advice, please let me know. And please put down in the comments what you want me to make a video of next. I really like making videos about smut, and I am writing more ideas for more future smut advice videos and more description. I definitely, for one of my writing advice videos, I want to read my first fiction that I ever wrote, which is horribly written. Oh God, it's so bad. And I think that would be absolutely hilarious if I read my first fan fiction for YouTube. I might do that for another writing advice video, but please let me know what other writing advice you want. I have a whole bunch of experience. I don't have anything like actually published yet, but I've been working on 2 novels for the past year and a half, and I eventually am going to get them published. I'm not sure if I want to self-publish them yet or traditionally publish. They're kind of in genres where it's very difficult to find publishers for, because they're mixed genres, and I don't know, it's really hard to find an agent for something that is so rare. I don't know yet. I'm really not sure, but please stay tuned for my novels because they will be coming out. I'm probably just gonna publish them myself, but I have to get a professional editor and pay somebody to make a actual professional, what's it called, book cover. But anyways, yeah, I upload a whole bunch of videos, a whole bunch of types. I have my video upload schedule down in the description box below, and I would really enjoy if you would like and subscribe and let me know what kind of writing you do, what's your favorite genre, what kind of stuff do you like writing. Obviously, if you watch this, you probably are interested in writing smut or not interested in writing smut, just curious, I don't know. Anyways, just let me know what kind of writer you are down in the bottom. Anything you want me to make videos of, that would be very appreciated. I need ideas for my writing videos. That would be very, very helpful. So please let me know. I have a whole bunch of ideas already, but I want more because I want to make, I really enjoy, because look, this entire Google Doc is just like ideas for this video. I do have another video, I do have the video that I referenced a few times in this video, and it's the 5 things not to do while writing smut, and I'm going to link that right down below also because that is really fun. Also, I did another video on how to stay motivated while you're writing, or how to get motivated. Why the hell is somebody freaking mowing their lawn right now? trying to film, you fucker. This guy mows his lawn at like 3 in the morning. It's nuts. He's always out there with no shirt on. I don't care if it's 20 degrees out. I live in America, so not Celsius. Like actual 20 degrees, like freezing cold. He's always mowing his lawn without his shirt on. He's crazy. You probably heard me making video about porn and he's like, hey, I'm gonna go mow my lawn. I don't know, that wasn't funny. That made no sense. So if you're interested in more writing advice videos, I do have those other 2 down below. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and please come say hi to me on Twitter, Instagram. My Instagram is currently locked right now, unfortunately, because for some reason it thought that I was buying likes, which I wasn't. I just mass unfollowed a bunch of people, and then it was like, oh, well, you're locked for a week. It's like, great. I can't even promote my freaking YouTube videos because Instagram hates me. But anyway, yeah, come say hi to me on Twitter. I might give you the link to my AO3. I might. I don't know. Yeah, so anyways, my writing is pretty kinky, so don't judge me. Okay, don't judge me, okay? I hope I helped y'all in this video. I really appreciate you for watching, and yeah, happy writing, you fucking perverts. Toodles.